All right, let's get into game 2 between Biggels and Amy, or AimieW. Amy, I don't really know. Biggels, why aren't you building a worker? What's happening here? What are you doing? That's just weird like that. Why? What? Why are you not building workers? Well, that makes no sense. You've got the money to build workers. Build workers. What is this? What am I seeing? What manner of strangeness is this? Meanwhile, things pretty strange on the other side of the map too. We've got a gas first coming from Amy, but I don't know about this. I mean, finally there's a worker in production, but you know, income-wise, you're just going to be miles behind. I mean, yeah, you're several workers short. I don't understand why you wouldn't open with a worker. It doesn't, you don't need a supply depot straight away. You've got enough spare supply to build a couple of workers. There's literally no advantage to doing that. I don't understand it. Anyway, here we are, and yeah, barracks being built. Barracks being built on the other side of the map. A much more normal looking setup over here. I'm curious about this early gas. I don't know if that is because he's got something in mind that is going to, is going to need a lot of gas, or I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. Meanwhile, on the Biggels side of the map, we've got normal stuff. A second gas coming down, a second barracks coming down. So, yeah, I mean, the thing about gas, for a lot of tech, you need gas, but generally, you don't need it in advance of having the tech. So until such times as you've got something to spend it on, you don't really need the gas. This is a pretty quick factory from Amy, though, so maybe that is why I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's up to something. Maybe we're going to see something fancy. The tech lab as well on the barracks here is pretty normal. Tech lab on the barracks as well on the other side of the map. We've got a factory and a ghost academy. So that is such an early ghost academy. You would have to suspect that this is going to be a nuke drop. So the factory is so that you can get the starport. You build a medevac, you build a ghost, you build a nuke, and so we might see the nuke start and we might see the ghost start straight away. You build the starport, load the load the ghost into a medevac, fly it across the map, pop it out, and launch your nukes ahoy. So that can certainly be extremely damaging. That can certainly cause a lot of problems. Bunker at the front, so not taking any chances, very cautious build. There's the nuke in production. The starport is coming, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens over there. Meanwhile, on this side of the map, siege tank building. And the natural is already up and mining, although I note that we're not building workers, Amy. We talked about this, always building the workers. Another barracks coming down, so really this is all going to come down to, is he going to have a scan? Because although cloaking has not been researched, I don't think. So he's built the nuke, but we haven't seen personal cloaking being researched. So he doesn't have... he won't have an invisible ghost, and as yet there isn't actually a ghost on the map at all. So this build, I don't know if he's practiced this, but it's looking a bit clunky at present. Ideally the nuke wants to finish up just as the ghost pops out of the medevac on the other side of the map. So the timings here look a little bit skewed. There's still no ghost even in production. So what I don't know really what's going on. On the other side of the map, the defensive siege tank here is going to make it problematic for any ghost to simply walk in. So it is going to have to be a medevac fly in. Yeah, a very normal looking setup here. 211 build is Terran Classic, 2 racks, 1 factory, 1 starport. Means you can maintain a reasonable amount of production while you get your sort of economy up and running, while you get your tech, while you make your tech choices and stuff. It's not such a bad thing to do. So let's see if these Hellions can get anything done. They're going to want to run straight past the bunker. You don't want to be, and you definitely don't want to remain parked in range of that siege tank. So there aren't actually any SCVs mining at the natural, so not a great deal to be gained by running around the back of this mineral line. That was the move that should have been done straight away, though. All of the you don't want to try and fight a bunker. You know, Hellions do good damage against light units such as SCVs or whatever, but they really aren't great at tackling buildings or anything armored, and they're pretty feeble. So you know, siege tank shots and such aren't gonna do you any favors at all, really. Okay, in the production tab, siege tanks now coming up for Biggels as well. So let's have a peek at the units tab. We've got a couple of siege tanks and 11 marines. On Amy's side of the map, 1 siege tank, 8 marines. You know, things reasonably even, but Aimie is still managing to keep ahead in workers. So I'd imagine the income tab is in his favor, and there you see it's actually quite substantially in his favor. So as long as he throws down enough buildings to take advantage of that, he should be fine. And you know, 2 racks in production, another 2 racks queued up. So this is shaping up quite nicely. This factory now idle, and you know, I wouldn't mind seeing some more siege tanks. I think he's temporarily supply blocked there. Scan, where was the scan? Yeah, so double scan. Biggels, you know, he's built the nuke, he's got the ghost, he's got the medevac. I'm not, what are you waiting for? The sooner you do this, the better, really. Finally, cloak for ghosts is being researched. You know, but this is a very lit nuke drop, if indeed that is what it's going to be. In the natural here, look, you know, still no SCVs in production. You know, so 14 of 14 in the men. You've built the expo down here, but you're not actually building SCVs. And yeah, I don't know how many times I'll have to say this, but you don't stop building workers until, you know, as a rule of thumb, at least 3 fully saturated bases. As you get better at spending it, 4 fully saturated bases would be a reasonable target to aim for. Okay, yes, let's take a quick peek at how we're doing. So, you know, on the army front, fairly evenly matched. If we look at the upgrades, neither player has actually done much in the way of upgrades. Its combat shield is done, and that's okay. Whoops, whoa. Don't know what I've done there. That wasn't what I meant to do. What did I mean to do? Not that either. I don't even know. No? Oh, APM. Yeah, look, Amy's busy by the looks of things. Busy doing something. So that's quite exciting, isn't it? Very exciting, yeah. Not much has happened though in this game. Neither player really been on the other side of the map much. We did have the kind of Hellions run in here, but you know, not really a great deal has happened. Biggels has this vision from dropping scans. So Amy's doing well with building structures to keep up with his income, and that is good to see. Is going to need to crank out a few more medevacs, and really could do with thinking about some upgrades as well. This ghost that's coming in, you know, when you select a ghost, there's a button. Oh no! Oh god, no! Has he got a scan? Well, it looks like he's seen the red dot and he's very sensibly run from it. This siege tank is going to be the only casualty, or maybe there was a marine in there and maybe some of the SCVs got sniped as well. Has he got a scan? It looks like he's got energy for it. So it does just need to scan to get rid of this pesky ghost. Yeah, I thought for a second there that was going to be ugly, but it turned out okay. Yeah, Biggels you know, it's a lot of trouble to go to for really not very many kills at all. Yeah, I wanted to see a much earlier nuke, and I wanted to see it dropped out of a medevac. But, you know, you can't have everything, can you? You can't. So I've heard. Yeah, so he still has got ghosts in the mix. I still, you know, just like this should be a planetary. Look, we're coming up on a planetary, sorry, an orbital. We're coming up in 10 minutes. There's no third. There's relatively little in the way of production. At least there are some upgrades going. We've got Yamato being researched. The battlecruisers queued up. We're currently supply blocked, but no supply depots in production for whatever reason. So just needs to get on top of things here, really. Meanwhile, other side of the map, it looks like there is going to be some sort of push coming. Look, this ghost sees he sees it. He sees it. So again, Amy needs to think about getting a scan done. There is a nuke ready to go. Yeah, the ghosts, you know, pressing F means that the ghosts will not shoot on random targets. So, you know, when you're trying to cloak a ghost, you can simply hit F and they won't automatically open fire. It needs to just grab these Marines out of the way. I don't think it's overly going to matter. You know, if we look at the supply, Amy has overwhelmingly the larger army here. Doesn't have stim, and could really do with it for kind of stimming up and getting on top of these siege tanks. So he does need to manage this. Oh, sorry, my mistake. He totally does have stim. Needs to focus on the siege tanks though, otherwise this is going to get ugly pretty fast, and it is getting ugly. His own siege tanks siege up very lit indeed, and that was not a fight that he should have lost at all. So, you know, the key there, the siege tanks are the things that are doing splash damage. You have to get rid of them fast. So the trick is you grab your Marines, you hit stim, you rather than doing an A move, you right click onto the ground next to the tanks so that your Marines ignore everything else and they run up here, and then you right click the tanks one after the other and you focus those down. You know, so from outside tank range to shooting a tank in the face with stim, your Marines only need to take a single hit. So you can stim in here, kill this tank, and then kill the next one, and you should then have a superior army supply to win. Now, despite having lost a substantial amount there, Amy already has got the larger army. I mean, look at the units killed, look how much he lost. But because he's done a good job of building these production facilities, and because he's got the solid income to support it, he's already back in front. So, you know, the lessons to be learned from that. Build workers, keep building workers, and keep building production facilities to keep up with your income. Other lessons to be learned though, when your opponent's got siege tanks, approach with caution. Oh, what's happening here? So, battlecruiser has blinked in. Yeah, the SimCity's not going to help here. It's hard to get your Marines under this, which is going to be a little bit frustrating. So one of the things you can do is actually just lift a barracks up to help with the movement. Doesn't want to lose the battlecruiser, that's careless. In general, what you want to do with your battle cruisers, you know, they have a teleport ability. You want to fly them around the side of the map into your opponent's base, and once the health gets low and it looks like it's going to die, you just teleport back home and get a couple of SCVs to repair that. Yeah, so there is another battlecruiser at home. Battlecruisers, you know, that blink, that teleport ability is absolutely savage. You can get so much done with them. You know, you can defend at home, and then when your opponent's army retreats, you can just blink across the map into their base and get there before they do. And it's just a bit rude, to be honest. So another ghost, is he going to try and drop a sort of defensive nuke? Hard to tell. You need a scan, Amy. A scan. You need this scan. Drop the scan. Please drop the scan. Please drop the scan. Oh, God, no. Oh, I can't watch. Oh, jeez Louise. So, you know, Biggels feeling confident enough to move out, but look, he's still way behind in army supply. Yeah, not particularly ahead in upgrades either. He doesn't have stim, so all of this stuff's going to die pretty handily here. This lone ghost, man, 21 kills. Like, seriously, I'm gonna have to like open the replay and you know, like, resume play from replay or something, just so I can kill that ghost. Thank you. Finally. Yeah, that was horrible. The nuke on the siege tanks there. It was kind of yeah, horrible to watch. Yeah, nukes ahoy. Okay, come on, Biggels, what have you got? What are you building? You're building Marines 2 at a time at the 15-minute mark. You're not building anything out of your factory. You've got an idle starport, and you've got, look at this, that is disgusting. You've got 1,000 mineral and the best part of 1,000 gas in a queue. So, you know, sooner or later, one of these attacks is actually going to win. Again, the stim needs to be up into the face of the siege tanks. You need to kill these siege tanks. This is getting painful. 24 kills, 30 kills. You know, you have to kill these siege tanks. You've really got to. It's beginning to become just hard to watch. 35 kills on that siege tank. So you really do need to stim and run right up to them. Just, you know, click right on them, get involved. But it's, you know, Aimie is winning this game entirely on production. I mean, he's always ahead in supply. Even after these terrible engagements, he's still miles ahead in supply. He's up on 4 bases. He's continued to build production facilities. Look how many barracks there are here. So, you know, in production, he's cranking out Marines 10 at a time compared to the 2 at a time that are happening on the other side of the map. So, you know, he can just keep doing this. And even though these engagements are in, this is more like it, but you need to please just right click this tank. 44 kills that tank finally dies with. I mean, that's just awkward, but it does look like this will finally be the end. So, you know, despite very inefficient engagements, I think he's just pressed the wrong button there. He's just teleported about like 3 centimeters across the screen. Despite these inefficient engagements, just having that bigger production and just constantly holding down the I button, he has managed to grind this out, and it is a victory. GG.